Alright everyone, so today is going to be a little different. We ended up coming across a number of games and game systems, and how we did that was there's an Xbox One that was purchased at a yard sale, and I'll show you that in a moment, and everything else that we're going to look at was originally purchased at a storage unit auction by a friend of ours. He purchased the storage locker and then sold all these games and systems to us. Everything was $400, and the ideal here is we want to keep, and I'll show you in a minute, we want to keep one of the items, and that item we're hoping that we can sell everything else to make our money back and be able to keep what we want to keep without having any money in this at all. So a lot of these we'll go through. They're not in the best shape aesthetically. They need to be cleaned up a lot. So that's what we will be doing in this video. We're going to go over everything that we've got. Then we're going to clean everything, and I'm going to put everything on eBay, and we're going to see how much money we can make. And I will post a photo of each item's closing price so you can see how much we actually profited from this. And get an idea of, you know, if you can go to, you know, and $400 isn't a cheap price for these, but I think we may be able to come out at least even, which is the hope here, with keeping what we want to keep. And you know, it just gives you an idea that you can still go to yard sales. It's hard to find much at yard sales, but you can still find some things at yard sales and be able to sell them and make a little bit of money, or as in the majority of the things here, a storage locker auction. So to start everything up, we've got a Nintendo 64. This is the Jungle Green edition that came out for, I believe it had Donkey Kong Country with it originally. And we've got the console and the controller, and there's an expansion pack inside the 64, as you can see. Overall, it's not too bad, but it definitely needs to be clean. There's some grime in different areas, so we'll be taking it apart, cleaning it up. Same with the controller, getting it nice and clean. We may end up having to replace the joystick here because it's kind of goofy. The other controller, I'll probably just sell it as is. A lot of people are using wireless controllers now anyways. As far as the games that we got with it, we got Pokemon Stadium, Batman Beyond, Diddy Kong Racing, Bassmasters 2000, Magical Tetris Challenge, a memory card, which it's an aftermarket memory card, so I don't think, yeah, this isn't Nintendo. I don't know if this is even any good or not. I'll look at it and may end up throwing it away if it's not any good. Then we have one of my favorite games for the 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. I actually got this game when it first came out many years ago. The version that I had it had a black cartridge. We got Zelda, Ocarina of Time. This is another game I had when it came out, but the edition I had, the cartridge was gold. Got Pokemon Stadium 2. Star Fox 64. And again, the extra controller. I've got also the AC adapter for it and the audio video cable that came with it. So we've got a complete setup here. The ideal for this will be to go through, clean all the games up, take the system apart, the controller apart, get everything cleaned up as well as we can, and then I'm going to place the items individually for sale on eBay, with the exception of the 64 and the controllers will all be together. And I may put the 2 Pokemon stadiums together. Then we move on down. The next thing we have here, there's some Nintendo DS and games here, but the problem is it's not the actual game, it's just the cases, so I'll probably end up throwing these away. It's Escape the Museum and Brain Age. I don't know, but we don't have the game, so well, actually we do have the game for the Brain Age. So we've got this one, and for the DS here we've also got Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Cooking Mania, and for the Nintendo 3DS, Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. Then we've got the Game Boy Color game, Jumpstart Dino Adventure. It's probably a learning game for children. We've got as far as consoles go, we've got this Xbox 360. This doesn't go with this version of the 360, but there is a 120 gigabyte hard drive here as well. A game, this is an aftermarket GameCube controller. I'll probably just pitch this thing. Who knows if this thing even works, but I'll probably just throw it away. Controller for the Xbox 360. Does it work? Who knows? But we'll hook up this. We've got the power and all the cables for this as well. So we'll hook it up and see if we can get it working. And clean everything up as well. Other than I'm not going to clean this, waste my time with it. But we will clean the Xbox 360 up and the controller. Make sure those work. And we've got, this is a camera and microphone. It's PlayStation. Now, it's just got a USB end on it, so I don't know enough about these. I don't know if it only works on a PlayStation or if you can just hook it up to any USB port for a computer or whatever you're using. But this came with it. Then we've got the next thing here. This I actually purchased at a yard sale for $60. It was the Xbox One along with, I think, 5 games and the power cord. So I got all that for $60. Now, this I'm going to be selling, and the reason why is because this is what I want to keep here. This is a Xbox Series 1 S, and it's a smaller design, a lot better than the original one over here that we've got. So all in all, there's $460 here. The ideal is to sell everything with the exception of this to try to get $460 back, and then we can keep the Xbox for ourselves. Also, I didn't mention yet, we've got a Nintendo DS, and I've tried both of these, they work, and the Nintendo 2DS right here. So both of these work. They have power cables and everything with them as well. May keep the 2DS. The DS will probably be sold with the other items. But again, the ideal here is to try to sell everything with the exception of this so that we can make $460. Can we do it? I think we can. The Xbox One here, we should be able to get maybe $70, $80 out of it. It works fine, no problems. We've got a couple controllers for it. The 360, maybe we can get 30 or 40 bucks out of it if it's working. I don't know. I haven't tested it yet, so I don't know. The DS games, the Luigi's Mansion, this may have a little bit of value. The others I don't think are worth much of anything, but the real moneymaker of all of this is the 64 Jungle Green Edition and the games. So I'm hoping that with the 2 Xboxes, the One and the 360, that we can make around 120 to 150, and then we can make up the rest down here. I'm going to estimate that we can get around 150 for the 64 on its own with the expansion pack, because the expansion packs sell for around $50. So I think we can get around 140 to 150 out of this. If we can get 140, 150 out of that, the Xboxes, then we're up to, you know, around $280, $300. And then to make up the rest, I think we may be able to get $150 to $200 out of the games once I get them cleaned up. Because there's a couple of them that's a little bit rough, but most of them just have some like grease on them, dirt, and I should be able to get them all cleaned up, and I'll test them. As long as they're working and I can get them cleaned up, I think we can make the money we need to make. So this will be an adventure. We're going to go through this together, and you'll see each item in here that we're going to sell, the cleaning of everything, and how we end up doing on eBay. So at this point we are disassembling the Nintendo 64. Once we have it apart, we're cleaning it off screen to make sure that everything is nice and neat for whomever purchases it. We were also looking at everything inside the console to make sure that there was no damage to any of the internal parts. The cartridge slots, I noticed whenever we received it, weren't installed correctly, so I know that someone at some point in time had this apart. So we put it back together, fixed the springs on the cartridge slots so that they worked properly, and then we used some of the gel that we had used on the other consoles to wipe over the console housing and make everything look nice and shiny and like new. In this part of the video, we are cleaning all of the Nintendo 64 cartridges with mineral spirits, alcohol, and then Windex. The first two are used to clean all of any kind of residue or grime that's been built up onto the cartridges over time. We used alcohol to clean the bottom of the cartridge that actually goes into the Nintendo 64 to make sure it reads it okay, and then Windex to do a final polish. We then went over everything with a Chemical Guys tire and trim gel, the same product that we used for the Nintendo 64 console, to make sure that everything was nice and shiny and we really give it a better look to be so easier. We're cleaning the Xbox 360 console. We started out by using a blower with just a light PSI of air over the console to get any kind of dust or anything that was built up either inside or outside of the console. We then went through and wiped everything down with alcohol just to kind of get any kind of sticky grime or residue that's left on the console. And then we cleaned it off with the final polish with the Chemical Guys tire and trim gel to give it that real nice and shiny new look again. We started off by blowing off the Xbox One to remove any kind of loose dust or dirt. wiped it off then with alcohol, and then we used a Novus fine scratch remover on the front of the console along with our drill and buffing wheel to clean off any of those small fine scratches that were there. We then wiped everything off again with alcohol and then used the trim gel that we had used on the other products to really give it that nice finished look that it originally had. This is a very recommended product for any of your game consoles to make sure it gives it that nice shine that it originally had without being very greasy. The final product made the console look new. It just gives a little bit better selling price to it whenever we're going to put it on eBay. So we've sold all of our items, and now we're going to see how we did. You can tell from the picture that we sold the Nintendo 64 console, controller, AC adapter, and cables for $180 on eBay. Plus $20 brings us up to $200 total. We then shipped the console for $26.90, which brought us down to a total profit of $173.10. Next up, we have Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker for the Nintendo 64. This sold for $17 plus $9.85 for shipping and handling, which got us to a total of $26.85. It cost us $9.45 for shipping and handling, so our total profit was $17.40 from this. I have seen these cartridges go for around $30 to $40. However, the condition of this one wasn't so great. The back label and the front label were rough. The game played just fine, but that's definitely taken into consideration of why it didn't sell so great. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64 sold for $25, plus $9.85 for shipping and handling, brought us to a total of $34.85. We then paid $9.45 for shipping, which brought us down to a profit of $25.40. Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2 for the Nintendo 64 sold for $40 plus $9.85 for shipping and handling. We then paid $9.45 for shipping, which brought our profit down to $40.40. Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64 sold for $105 plus $9.85 for shipping and handling, bringing to a total of $114.85. We then paid $9.45 for shipping, which brings us to our profit of $105.40. The Xbox 360S that we had, as you notice from the photo included, I've added 2 extra controllers. These are controllers that I had sitting around for many years and no longer use because we've converted everything over to the Xbox One. I decided to include them with this auction to see if we could get a little bit of extra money out of it. We ended up selling the console for $65 plus $20 for shipping and handling, which got us to a total of $85. We then shipped the console for $15.57, which got our total profit to $69.43. For the Xbox One, you'll notice in the photo that we included a wired controller. This wired controller was included with the turquoise edition Xbox One that was in the storage auction. From the yard sale where we purchased this particular Xbox One, we also received 2 wireless controllers for the Xbox One. So we ended up keeping the wireless controllers, and then we included the wired controller with the sale of this Xbox One so that whoever purchased it would have a complete setup. We ended up getting $70 on the auction plus $19 for shipping and handling. That comes to a total of $89. We then ended up paying more than what we had originally anticipated for shipping. We quoted $19 for shipping on the auction, and it ended up costing us $30.22 via FedEx. After this auction, we ended up shipping everything else via USPS and UPS to save some money. Our total after the $89 and then the $30.22 shipping ended up getting us to a total profit of $58.78 for the Xbox One. Now it's time for everything else. I know what you're thinking. You're looking at the picture and saying that there were some other items that we haven't included yet in regards to the sales of them. We'll get to that in a few minutes. For right now, let's focus on this screen. We've got Bassmaster 2000, Diddy Kong Racing, Star Fox 64, Tetris Challenge, Turok 2, and the PlayStation camera. We had these listed on eBay for roughly 2 weeks. No offers, no bids. I even had lowball prices of $8 or $9 a piece on these. I decided to take my chances at a local gaming store to see what we could do. I took them in, and they offered us $35 for the bundle. That may not be a lot of money, but considering we weren't getting any traction on eBay, I thought this was the best way to proceed. So we ended up selling all of these games and the camera for $35 total. So we all want to know how well we did. If we go back to what our goal was, we wanted to keep the Microsoft Xbox One S, the turquoise edition, for ourselves and try to sell everything else to get us back up to that $460 mark that were invested into this project. Now, along the way, we ended up deciding to keep the Nintendo 2DS and the DS Lite. The reason being, with the DS Lite, we've got one already, but it has a tendency of shutting off. So we decided to keep this one. There'll be another video where we'll go into some more discussions of that and what we ended up doing with this. But for now, just consider that we kept the 2DS, the DS Lite, and the Xbox One S for ourselves. We also kept the 2 controllers that we got from the yard sale that were the wireless controllers for the Microsoft Xbox One. So, considering everything that we've kept here, now we're going to look and see how we fared with selling all of our items to try to get to that $460 area that we were looking to get to. So we've decided to keep the Xbox One Series S, the Nintendo 2DS, and the Nintendo DS Lite. We're going to look and see how much money we made off of everything else, see how we ended up. We've got the Nintendo 64 console. We made $173.10 off of it. Batman Beyond, $17.40. Zelda Ocarina of Time, $25.40. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, $40.40. Conker's Bad Fur Day, $105.40. Xbox 360 console, $69.43. Xbox One console, $58.78. And the extra Nintendo 64 games and PlayStation camera, $35. That brings us to a total of $524.91, which compared to the original investment of $460 means that we have profited $64.91. Plus, we got to keep the console and the games that we wanted to. This turned out very good for us. I think that you could do the same. Keep your eyes out at yard sales and storage auctions or other online auctions where you may be able to get some good deals. Until next time, thanks for watching the channel. Like, subscribe to the show, and we'll see you next time.